On February 27th, 1996, Pokémon Red and Pokémon Green were launched in Japan. Yes, this marks the birthday of Pokémon. The first time the public was allowed access into the world of Pokémon. It was the first time we were introduced and met Professor Oak, and was then given the Pokédex and a mission to travel to Kanto and discover new friends, and of course capture all of the Pokémon. At the time, I was only 6 years old and not living in Japan, unfortunately. The day is significant as a whole, obviously, but far more significantly for children that got to live in Japan. The Japanese, they're lucky. They're the lucky ones. It wouldn't reach me until 2 years later, on September 28th, 1998. And that was the day, literally, my life changed forever. And I don't mean to be overdramatic when I say that, or to exaggerate in any sort of way. It literally changed me that day. That marks the day that Pokemon was introduced into my life, the day Red and Blue hit the shelves in America. Here I am, 20 years later, and still play the games regularly. I'm 25 years old, and I am using my efforts to make this video and telling anybody who listens to this video how much I truly do love the Pokemon franchise. So yes, it did change my life, and it has greatly affected me, and it has really changed my life forever. I received Red. That was the first version I owned as a child before I got any other version, although eventually I would own Blue as well. I wasn't going to be left out on the other side of that equation. And when I was a kid, I had a really bad habit of biting my fingernails, and my grandmother absolutely hated it. She was always bargaining with me on ways to get me to stop, and I would often just not stop. It was a bad habit I had a lot of anxiety. No, but that's beside the point. So she struck a deal with me. She says she would go to Walmart with me, purchase Red for me, if I, of course, stopped biting my nails. And I did, because there was something about the marketing of these games and the idea of being able to capture, train beasts for battle, which I couldn't pass that opportunity up. And my grandmother and myself and my fingernails will thank me. On the way home from Walmart, yeah, I was playing the game. There was no way I wasn't going to bring my Game Boy with me and do the best I could to catch as much lighting I could in the back of a vehicle as I could to play the game. We didn't have backlights back then. And, man, do I appreciate them now. And once arriving home, I could not put the game down. I played for hours. I remember a time when I was a kid and I was sprawled out on my stomach, for some reason in the middle of the hallway of the small house we lived in, just playing the game. Because the hallway had the best lighting, and I had to play the game. I did it until bedtime, and oftentimes past bedtime. The next day at school, a small circle of my friends, which was the only circle of my friends, it was very small, were already talking about the game. That's when our Pokemon Club was born. Yeah, we had what we called a Pokemon Club. It consisted of all three of us. Everything we did, no matter what, revolved around Pokemon. I remember a particular soccer game at recess when we vowed that if we lost to that game, we would then store our Pikachus in the PC forever. Rest assured, we won that and every other soccer game henceforth. I was, frankly, stricken. I most certainly had the Pokemon fever. Social status be damned, I wore toy Pokeballs around my belt loops to school and other social functions. I was the coolest, not coolest motherfucking Pokemon trainer in all of that small town. Yeah, honestly, I cannot stress enough how fondly I look back on these memories. My friends and I, up at the wee hours, way past our bedtime of course, trading with our link cables and talking about and then proceeding to exploit, or at least trying to, the latest glitch rumors. The lore deepened with these rumors. There was often a very interesting lore that surrounded these games, And that's mostly due to the fact that we didn't have the same type of access to information like internet and things like that we do today. We had to go by word of mouth. Sometimes people would just make things up. But rest assured, the information found a way to get around. And when they turned out to be true, such in the case of Missing No, rest assured we greatly exploited that and all of our Pokemon were level 100. I can honestly sit here today and tell you that wholeheartedly, Pokemon really has given me some of the best days and times in my life. I challenge Nicholas Sparks to write a better love story than that, than a boy's love for Pokemon. It can't be done. It simply cannot be done. It is the strongest bond in all of the world, and any other world that might be out there. I say that it changed my life from then till now because it honestly has. As a kid, I was often very anxious, very sad, very confused, and dealt with depression. But despite that, I could leave what this world is, this reality or whatever, and enter the Pokemon world. And there I was a Pokemon trainer, and I would save the world. And I got to bond with my Pokemon. So, happy birthday, Pokemon. You really might have saved Kid Me, or at least help cheer him up. So, happy birthday, and may this franchise live on for all of foreverness. See you later, everybody.